Happy Thursday, sophomores. Welcome to week 6, lesson 28. Let's get started. Why did the bike fall over? It was too tired. Get it like it had 2 tires, but it was like too tired, T-O-O. Okay, for today's lesson, you should be watching the video ELA G10 W6 L28, which is what you're hopefully watching right now. The text again will be the thrill of the chase. And today you're going to work on analyzing the sentence variety and apply it to a writing sample. And when you get down to lesson 28, make sure you check out the materials you need for today. The learning target for today is I can analyze in detail how an author's ideas or claims are developed and refined by particular sentences and varied use of sentence structure. So today we're going to go back inside the thrill of a chase and take a look at sentence structure. Let's talk through the read, think, talk, write protocol today. For the read section, first, authors clarify and develop ideas and claims with sentence variety. Using sentences of different lengths allow an author to vary the effect of the text on the reader. So authors intentionally vary their sentence length throughout a text, and sentences of different lengths basically allow the author to vary the effect of the text on the reader. So they intentionally use sentence length to their advantage to change the effect it's having on the reader. And then today, basically, you have to read the descriptions of sentence types on your note catcher. So in the note catcher, it'll tell you different descriptions of sentence types. And then you have to reread the following paragraphs, 1, 4, 20, and 23, and pay special attention to the varied sentence length within each paragraph. Notice the impact sentence length has on the paragraph's message. So you're going to go back to those paragraphs, pay special attention to the length of the sentences that are used in the paragraph, short sentences, long sentences, sort of a mix, and then notice the impact the sentence length has on the paragraph's overall message. Now for the think section, so you have to think about your own writing and your attention to sentence length and structure. After engaging in this lesson, will you pay more attention to the use of varied sentence structure in your own writing assignments? So think about sentence structure in the past when you've engaged in writing. Have you really thought about sentence structure? Have you not thought about it? Do you think after this lesson you're gonna pay more attention to sentence structure in the future when you engage in future writing activities? And then just a reminder, all of this will be on the note catcher, but here's an example of where the different descriptions of sentence variety live in the note catcher. Now for the talk part, you're going to talk about one of the paragraphs you analyzed and share your insight. So of those 4 paragraphs, you have to just choose one and share your insight into what you noticed about sentence structure and how it impacted the message of the paragraph. Here's an example. Paragraph 10 is not one of the options, so this is an example with paragraph 10. In paragraph 10, first medium sentence adds detail, spurs interest. So the first medium sentence, it added detail and spurred interest. And the last 2 sentences, the first was medium, second was long, and they both provided explanation to what was said before. That's an example in the most basic form of what your paragraph can look like. For the write section, you're going to apply your knowledge of sentence length and write a paragraph explaining the steps you would take to find Forrest Fenn's treasure. Use sentence variety in your paragraph. So if you were someone who is going to look for Fenn's treasure, write a paragraph talking about like the steps you would take to try to find the treasure. But as you're writing the paragraph, really pay attention to sentence variety and try to vary the sentence lengths that you use. Have some that are small, short sentences, some that are longer, and some that are in between. And then don't forget that everything you need to complete for today is on the note catcher. So the closing today is like the closing every other day. You're first going to share your writing with someone, and then after you complete your assignment, remember to read a book for 20 minutes. And if you go to the top of the ELA packet, there is a reading log for you to document the reading you do every single day. So today's model is around analyzing the sentence variety. And before jumping right into the model, I wanted just to go over the actual directions of what you have to do with analyzing the sentence variety, because there's a lot to it. And the model today is only going to focus on one specific part, so I didn't want us to get confused. So the read section tells you that you have to reread paragraphs 1, 4, 20, and 23, and you have to pay special attention to the varied sentence length within each paragraph. Notice the impact sentence length has on the paragraph's message. So for the read part, you're really just rereading those paragraphs, and you're like making note of sentence length, and you're thinking through like what was the sentence variety like, and what impact do you think that sentence variety had, or lack of sentence variety had on the message of the paragraph. And then just a reminder for the talk part, you have to talk about one of the paragraphs you analyzed and share your insight with someone. So, but like you have to capture your initial thoughts in the note catcher before discussing. And there's an example here. So today I'm going to model for you like the reading part, where I'm going to actually read paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, and then I'm going to model for you how I would sort of like reflect on what the sentence variety was like in both those paragraphs. Paragraph 1 is one of the 4 that you're going to be asked to read on your own, so I'm sort of giving you a freebie with that one. Paragraph 2 is not, but paragraph 1 is, which means after you watch this video, you'll still have to do paragraphs 4, 20, and 23 on your own. Okay, so the first step is to go to the note catcher and read through the different descriptions of the sentence lengths. And as you read, you'll sort of learn about like the purpose of the different kinds of sentences and what impact they can have on the text as a whole. After we go through each of the 3 that are listed here, we'll then go to paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, and we'll read the paragraph, we'll make sense of it, and then we'll sort of reflect on the sentence variety that was used, and then we'll do the same thing with the next paragraph, and that'll sort of be a model for you when thinking through how to do the rest of the paragraphs that you have to read and analyze for today. So first, long sentences. Add rhythm, substance, complexity, and detail. Long sentences are often useful for explaining, comparing, and providing examples. That's pretty straightforward. If you see a long sentence, it's probably because it's giving you a lot of detail about something, and typically they sometimes actually come right after a short sentence, because the short sentence just gives you something, and then right after you'll have like another sentence that provides more detail of that something. Now, short sentences add drama and impact. They provide punch and directness. A short sentence can be used for many purposes, but really it's just because like there doesn't need to be extra words or extra like details or descriptors within that sentence. It's just short and sweet and to the point, and provides punch and directness. And like in an argument, if there's maybe 2 characters arguing, a short sentence can be sort of a indication of like someone's mad, or they're just trying to get like their point across directly and just like, you know, throw the final punch. But other times, like, it could be intentional for other reasons, where it's like there's no need to give additional information. It's just like what was said was enough to make the sentence complete. It needs to add anything else. And then varied sentence lengths give text a rhythm, musicality, and pace that keep the reader interested and make the text easier to understand. It's really just because like reading a text of all long sentences or short sentences would be very boring. The shift back and forth between long and short sentences in a varied manner actually like adds interest to the text, but it also makes the text easier to understand, because like packing everything in one sentence all the time would just be a lot to sort of process. But the constant flow back and forth between short and long sentences really does help the reader understand more. There are some examples of text that only use long or only use short sentences and are effective, and that's because it actually matches the mood and the tone of the text. In poetry, for example, you'll see a lot of poems with just short sentences, and that's not because they were lazy and didn't want to provide detail, but that's actually intentional, because the short sentences match really the purpose and the poem, the tone and mood of the text. Okay, so again, what you have to do is you have to reread paragraphs 1, 4, 20, and 23 and pay attention to sentence length. I'm going to do paragraph 1 with you, which is 1 here, so you get a freebie, as I said before. And I'm also going to read paragraph 2 with you and talk about sentence length as well with paragraph 2. Okay, let's start with paragraph 1. You ready? Blame Ralph Lauren. In 1996, the designer paid a visit to his friend Forrest Fenn, who lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Fenn had recently undergone chemo and radiation for kidney cancer, and was told there was only a 20% chance for his survival. He sold a successful Santa Fe art gallery and settled in to await the inevitable. While he did, many friends stopped by to visit him and his wife at home. So here's an example that was in the lesson of what I could say next when describing the sentence length of paragraph 1. You'll see here they don't really give too much detail. I thought for the sake of the model that I would give more detail. That doesn't mean that you have to, but I figured it would just be helpful for me to overshare than undershare. So here's what I put for my analysis of sentence length for paragraph 1. The first sentence is short and adds curiosity and wonder. Blame Ralph Lauren is the first sentence, right? That is short, it adds curiosity and wonder. I'm curious as to why the person in this text would blame Ralph Lauren. That's all that needed to be said. Makes me want to keep reading to understand that connection between Ralph Lauren and Forrest Fenn, like I just said. The next 3 sentences, I think there's 3 more. Obviously, there's 3 more, but I think so. There's 4 total. Are longer and provide background detail on each character and gives us more insight into the relationship between Lauren and Fenn. Exactly. So these sentences are intentionally longer because we're trying to understand more about like why like Ralph Lauren should be blamed. So now they're giving us more detail about the setting, but really also on the characters and their relationship between the two. So we're starting to realize that the two are actually friends. So we don't know for sure yet, but maybe the blame Ralph Lauren thing is not real. It's more of like a facetious, sarcastic thing. Maybe he's blaming him for something good. We don't know. But the first paragraph is filled with mainly longer sentences that provide us with detail of our characters and the relationship they have with each other. Okay, next paragraph, second paragraph. The place was filled with more than 5,000 pieces of museum-quality southwestern art and artifacts, from Sitting Bull's pipe and an 18th century painted buffalo skin to early Indian pottery and rare Plains Indian medicine bonnets. Lauren immediately fell in love with a Crow Indian hat covered in white ermine skins and carved antelope horns and offered to buy it. Fenn refused, saying it was one of his favorites. Lauren said, "Well, you can't take it with you," to which Fenn replied, "Then I'm not going." So for paragraph 2, the first sentences are actually long, and because they're really just a continuation of the last paragraph, and they're meant to continue to provide like more detail on not just the characters, but Fenn's art museum itself. We learn about all the artifacts that are in the museum, and to show the reader that Lauren became fascinated by all of it. So he like actually loved this one hat and wanted to buy it. The last 3 sentences are short and are dialogue between Lauren and Fenn. These are short to show how playful the relationship was, but also to show how direct Fenn was about not wanting to sell certain pieces of artwork. So there's a typo there, but how direct Fenn was about not wanting to sell certain pieces of artwork. So that's really important. The last 3 sentences were actually just short, and they were dialogue. Like it's just like a short exchange between the two. It's to show that they have a playful relationship. They're clearly joking. They're taking like jabs at each other in a way. But it also like just reaffirmed the most important point that like even to his friend, Fenn is not interested in selling some of his artwork. Like he'd rather like not die, and which is not like something you can control. He's saying like I'd rather not go, so I'm not going to die because I just don't want to sell this. So I think that's pretty powerful, and I think that if the sentences were longer, that may have been missed, and so it was actually really intentional for the author to have short sentences here to help us understand the dynamic between the two characters, but also to really just drive home this point that Fenn will not sell some of his artwork, not even to one of his closest friends. Hopefully that model was helpful. As you know, I completed paragraph 1 with you, and you still have 3 other paragraphs you have to do on your own, so make sure you complete that and repeat the same process, but also go back and read the lesson plan, the rest of it, to make sure you didn't miss anything in terms of what you had to complete. For tomorrow's lesson, lesson 29, the learning target is I can adopt a strong position on a given topic by preparing through reading and research, drawing explicitly on evidence from the text. So tomorrow you're actually going to take a stand and basically form an opinion about a given topic related to our text. I think you'll like it. As always, thank you for learning with me today. Just a few quick reminders. Don't forget to talk about your lesson with someone. Read 20 minutes and complete a reading log entry. The reading log is at the front of your packet. And practice reading fluency using the first or second page of your weekly reading. So the reading for this week can be used for your fluency work. And if you forgot what to do for fluency, go to the front of your packet and there's information there. And as always, email your teacher for support if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a great day. And remember, keep learning.